Greetings, Goddess Body, Mind, Spirit community. This is Tyra Omilade, your goddess guru, your sister friend. And I love using ancient wisdom to educate and empower women to unlock the goddess within so that you can liberate yourselves from trauma and limiting beliefs while stepping into your power, aligning to your life purpose, and creating a goddess centered lifestyle. And today, what I want to do is go over the astrology for the month. I'll pull a card and also, yeah, just kind of look at this month. Thank you all so much for being here, for listening. And I hope that all is going well. We recently had a new moon. So I hope that you had an auspicious new moon. May this new moon help you manifest the life of your dreams. And yeah, we are in the thick of Mercury retrograde at this point. And so, wow. Hopefully Mercury retrograde is being gentle with you. I started out Mercury retrograde with a bang. I had my eye swell up. I don't know what it is. I went to the zoo. I don't remember being stung or anything, but my left eye had swollen to the point where I had to go to the doctor 2 times, and it's been almost a week, and my eye is still slightly swollen, but it is getting better. And then we had, our plumbing went awry. We had water coming through the ceiling from the 2nd floor down into the 1st floor and had to get the pipes repaired. Wow. So yeah, I hope that, but it's just like I'm rolling with it. And Mercury retrograde is such a beautiful opportunity to slow down, and it slows things down so much so that we can really see them, for what they really are. So yeah, let us appreciate this time. Let us give thanks for our technology. So yeah, we're gonna look at the astrology. And before we do that, what I want to do is just to remind you all that I have one left, one of the mini readings. I've changed the name. I've been working with this beautiful, wonderful coach, Coach Daisy, and we came up with a whole new name. I love this, the sacred mini reading. I can be super practical. I'm like quarterly mini reading. I got you for the next 3 months. I'm gonna let you know what's going on. So yeah, we have one of those left. And so if you would like to grab that last spot, you have until August the 11th to do so. And in this reading, I definitely will touch on what Mercury retrograde means for you. This Mercury retrograde is super active, but it depends on where your planets are. Is it interacting with your own personal planets a lot or not? And just whatever other transits I see. That Jupiter transit, we have Jupiter right now down here in Gemini. Whoa, woo, that is giving us a run for the money, whether you know it is or not. So yeah, I've been looking at that. And just anything else that's standing out in your chart. So, yeah, avail yourself to the mini readings. So yeah, let's look at what we have going on. And I apologize for not being on camera, but like I said, I've had a lot going on, and so it'll help me conserve my energy just to be off camera today. So yeah, today is August the 7th. So we're already 7 days into this month. We had that new moon on August the 4th, and then we had Venus go into Virgo. So we're now starting to kick off the time where we go into transitioning into a whole new theme. We still, well, the sun won't go there until the 22nd, but Venus is starting to bring in that Virgo energy. And so it's a important time because Virgo really helps us to begin to look at what are our problems, what do we need to fix, how do we need to fix it up, maybe focus on our health and well-being. And maybe this year we just really haven't been super organized. We haven't had all of our to-do lists plotted out and, so that we can just keep moving forward and be orderly because Virgo is definitely about being orderly. It wants organization. It wants a system. And so the question is, where do you need that in your life? So, anytime a planet goes into Virgo, we'll be looking at those topics. Okay. Now, Venus and Virgo can bring up topics around money. Maybe you're going to be more specific around maybe that you have money problems and Venus is going to help you. Venus and Virgo is going to help you begin to come up with some solutions to your money problems. Maybe you have relationship issues. And so Venus and Virgo can help you. I want you to remember this. Mutable signs. What are the mutable signs? Gemini, which right now we have 2 planets in Gemini. After Gemini comes Virgo. Venus is now in Virgo. Eventually, the sun will be there in Virgo. The next one is Sagittarius, which there's nothing going on in Sagittarius right now. And then the last one would be um, Saturn. Saturn, well, we have 2 planets in Pisces. Excuse me. The sign is Pisces, and we have 2 planets in Pisces. We have Saturn in Pisces, and we have Neptune in Pisces. Anytime we have a lot of mutable energy, things need to change. But it's more of like things need to be improved. There may be like a shift from one phase to the next. And the other thing that I'll say about mutable energy is things aren't always as they seem. And it's more so right now that nothing actually is exactly how we see it. But it's an opportunity to see things in a new and more expanded way. Okay. And so with Venus being there in Virgo, it just gives us an opportunity to begin to, you know, really take stock of what needs to be improved. 'Cause that's something else that mutable signs are known for, improving a thing. What needs to be improved in terms of our relationships? Venus also has to do with our values. And so the question is, what is it that we need to do to live more aligned with our values? Or do we even have the right values? Because one of the things that's very important for us to understand is all these layers that we have to ourselves. We have our identity, and then another layer would be our values. And people do not s- un- d- people underestimate the power of values. It's a slept on topic. But if you do not hold the values of the thing that you want, then it makes it more difficult to manifest it. And so, sometimes it'll feel like we really value something because we really want it. But in order to actually manifest a lot of, what we want, we have to have the values that go along with having that thing. And so Venus and Virgo can give us that opportunity to look at what are our values. And it could be also, it's time for us to be more expansive and understanding, um be more expansive in our values. Maybe we realize, you know what, I really don't actually value this thing. And so it's going to give you an opportunity while Venus is there. It's going to give you an opportunity to get yourself shifted to the point where you do. And I just see life as a choice. Everything in life maybe isn't a choice. I want to make sure I don't minimize. A lot of times we don't understand the impact of trauma on us or the impact of lack of education. So I want to just, make sure I acknowledge that. But in order for us to move in new directions, it really will take choosing to get ourselves educated, choosing to get ourselves healed up enough, choosing to look and really see what is it that I need to do in order to go where I want. And once we make those choices, that's how we take on the new values. What we value, really, it just boils down to one day we just chose that I value that thing. All right. So I want you to be thinking about that. This is an opportunity for you to really upgrade your values while Venus is in Virgo. But make no mistake about it, Venus in Virgo becomes very picky because Virgo is it has a discriminating eye. It can be very nitpicky. And so some people might just be like, you know what, I'm upgrading myself in terms of relationships. I'm becoming pickier. I'm not willing to settle anymore. Right? Or if you're already in a long-term relationship, you just won't be willing to settle for the same old, okay? A chance to improve it. Maybe you're not willing to settle regarding whatever's going on with your money. It could be your money behavior because Virgo has to do with like, how are you operating? Maybe you're not willing to settle anymore on your health and well-being and just like, I value myself so much. I'm not willing to settle on whatever you need to improve in that area. You know what's going on in your life better than I do. But I do see this as an opportunity I really just love Virgo energy. I know it gets such a bad rap, and it's probably because I'm a Pisces, and Virgo energy helps me so much because I can be so creative and so fluid that it's like nothing is getting done. But then, Virgo comes in and Virgo is like, all right, here's the list. Let's get her done. By the end of the day, everything is done. It looks amazing. All the clutter is cleared. That's another thing. Like Venus and Virgo is like, get rid of this clutter, get rid of all this mess. We need to get things looking more beautiful up in here. All right. We need to do some upgrades to this piece. Same when the sun goes there, which is going to happen on August the 22nd. When the sun goes into Virgo, then it'll be time to focus on all things Virgo, which are all the topics I've been talking about. But what the sun does is it shines a light on what's going on. It's like Venus comes through and is kind of like leading the way and bringing up the topics because Venus doesn't want to hurt you, right? Venus is just kind of like, I'm going to bring it up. But once the sun gets here, you're really going to have to take action. The sun is a luminary and it can bring, great wisdom. It can bring inspiration and motivation. And so that might be something that happens for you. You get inspired and motivated around, organization, taking care of your health. Um, another thing could be blessings in the workplace. It's like maybe there's a project because Virgo is like project management. So maybe there was a project you've been working on and Venus in Virgo, and then the sun in Virgo is going to help you with that project to like really maybe get it mapped out or maybe to get it completed, which is what I'm excited to think about, even though I'll be extremely busy in Virgo season. But yeah, it makes me excited to think about that. Um, so yeah, just getting things clean, cleared, purged. And another thing is you can be really focused on your health during that time. You can work on your eating, whatever this would look like for you fasting. I believe in consulting experts now. I believe that there's some, little fast that we can just kind of do on our own. But after a while, if we're doing long, extensive fasts, we really do want to work with experts. But yeah, it might be a really good time just to say, I'm gonna eat a little bit less. That's one of the remedies of Virgo. Virgo loves to fast. Virgo loves to just not eat when it doesn't feel well. It helps the body, helps Virgo's systems reset. But during Virgo system season, we all may feel that way. I will say also, Virgo season is about pets. So that might be a big topic that comes up for some of you during this season. Mercury's retrograde for quite a bit of Venus, well, all of Venus and, well, yeah, for the most part, all of Venus in Virgo. Mercury is retrograde. So it could have you revisiting some topics around your pet or going back. Maybe there was a pet you wanted and then you go back, you didn't get it, you go back and get the pet. Um, and then when the sun is there, there's a time when Mercury is not retrograde. And so, so maybe some people after a while will want to go and get new pets or do something new. Maybe take your pet and get your pet trained or something. But it might be definitely topics around pets. Also, the energy of Virgo is about charitable giving. So for some of us during this time, especially during August and most of September, we will be perhaps thinking about being charitable giving, helping someone out who's down and out. All right. So that's Virgo. That's a big energy for the month of August. And yeah. So Mercury retrograde is happening in both Virgo, but you see only until August the 14th. Then Mercury goes back into Leo. So, the one thing I will say is with Mercury being retrograde, first of all, it's retrograding in its own sign. Virgo season is definitely about going back and revisiting some topics. All right. And I think that Jupiter in Gemini is also it's like this rolling back. There's topics or maybe it's things that we'll be thinking about and talking about that we'll be coming back to. Maybe there's some unfinished discussions that a lot of us will have because of that Mercury retrograde. And it's because Mercury rules Virgo and it rules Jupiter. And even though Jupiter, excuse me, not Jupiter, it rules Gemini, where Jupiter is, and actually Mars is there too. So there's this energy, it's really slow. It's really slow right now. Um, and so yeah, make sure you avail yourself accordingly. So yeah, and the other thing is this Mercury retrograde is like, wow, I don't see it as a terrible Mercury retrograde because it's not necessarily clashing a lot. Like it does square up with Uranus at some point, but it's not clashing with all of the major planets. I don't even think Mars is in here. Like, oh, it's a sextile to Mars. So it's like a lot of energy that's kind of like good with this Mercury retrograde. On the other hand, it's like sort of complicated and complex. So I'm just saying that the one of the best approaches that you can have for the month of August is to just kind of understand no matter how much you want to move forward, you just may not be able to move forward as fast as you want to. And there's a reason for that. You may want to just stop for a moment and just really ask yourself, what am I supposed to be focused on? Because I can tell you something else about all that mutable energy. It can make things very murky and cloudy, especially because we have planets in Pisces. So it could just kind of feel like you feel foggy. I'll tell you what, I know the school kids are going back to school, but if you can relax and not be doing a whole bunch during the month of August, and maybe just kind of finish up some stuff and sit down and look at the big picture and decide, okay, once Mercury goes direct and I have more energy to go forward, then what is it that I actually want to be focused on? I want to recommend that you sit down and take stock of your goals list, your intentions for 2024, and just look and see, okay, where am I? What do I need to do? How do I need to shift? What have I even forgotten that I set an intention around? And then come up with some steps that will take you in that direction. This is definitely like a in the meantime phase. Now, I think there's a lot that's going to be going on because it's mutable energy. We have Jupiter and we have Jupiter and Mars here in Gemini, and that Gemini is like, let's go, 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 right? Um, so there, it could feel like there's a lot going on, especially mentally, because Gemini is the mind. Could be a lot going on in the mind. Could be a lot of talking. I could tell you, and a lot of us might be struggling with too much time on social media. I'm so happy I'm saying this now because I've been saying to myself, I'm trying to figure out what is up with this scrolling. I have to tell myself, no scrolling, Tyra, no scrolling. Um, so it'll seem sort of like there's a lot of movement going on, but it's probably like conversation and the mind just go, 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 go. But what we want to do is use that Mars to get ourselves focused, get that mind one pointed and focused on what is the goal, what's the vision, what is it that we're working on, and yeah, wow, whoo. So, yeah, that Mercury retrograde being in Leo, and then, we just had a new moon in Leo, and Mercury's going to go back into Leo, and then Mercury's in um, Virgo. Venus is there, the sun is there. It's just a lot happening with this Mercury retrograde. So, yeah, that's how I see a lot of how to work with the Mercury retrograde. Definitely open yourself up to giving thanks for your technology, repair some stuff, what needs to be repaired, or, what have you been putting off in terms of medical appointments? That might be something for some of you all. You've been, oh yeah, that's what I need to call and make that appointment, and you hadn't made it yet. Take care of your health with this Mercury retrograde. So let's see here. I want to talk about Mercury retrograde. And okay. So I'm in a new astrology certification course. So I want to bring in this notion of cycles. I'm getting a little bit more precise because anytime there is a conjunction is what it's called. And this is called Mercury conjunct Venus. If you look here, you can see Mercury and Venus are both right there on the 3rd degree. So that's called a conjunction. And a conjunction, it marks a new beginning. And I'll tell you what, that conjunction could be a new beginning around like you're thinking about what you really value and asking yourself, am I living my life aligned with my values? Or, there's some new values I'm taking on and I'm going to, kick it off. New thoughts about self-worth, self-value, self-care, relationships, money. Could be anything like that. Some of it is a revisiting. I think that it will be for some of us, we've forgotten what our values are because Mercury is retrograding across Venus. And it's kind of like reminding us of what we should be valuing. So, yeah, that's something to really think about. And it's kicking off a new beginning, though, of some sort. It's giving you an opportunity. I'm going to say a fresh new restart is how I'm going to call it. You're getting a fresh new restart with this. And this is going to last. We will see Mercury and Venus meet again March of 2025. So you have from now to March of 2025. I want you to pay attention to what's coming up for you August 7th. Yeah, we could say 6th, 7th, 8th, something like that. What's coming up for you around those days? And whatever's coming up for you around those days, you're going to be working on it from now until around March. So for about 6 months. And it's interesting because when they meet, Venus will be retrograde at that point. I'm like, oh my gosh. So y'all, yeah, if it's a new relationship of some sort that starts, you may find that, there's a cycle to it that will last until Venus and Mercury meet again. I'm not saying it's necessarily going to end, but it'll be sort of like this is the first leg of the cycle, right? Or maybe there's a revisiting of a relationship at this time. Um, it could be something around the health, something kicking off around the health, something kicking off around a job. I've been meaning to mention that. For some people, you may be wanting something new when it comes to the job, when it comes to day-to-day routines on the job. That could be something that's coming up for you, okay? And this cycle is kicking off, and you can just think, okay, I have until March. I think it's like around somewhere right at the beginning of March. I have until right around March to to make this happen. You have a start and you have a finish. All right. That's what I love about working with the cycles because it makes me understand. Okay, this is the amount of time this energy is going to last for me. And so, yeah, I tell you what, it could be some health topics coming up. It could be something around the kidneys. It could be something around the booty, which I used to think was so funny until I started realizing how many people get BBLs. So some people might be like, I got to get this BBL out. Or some people might be saying, hey, I'm going to get one. I say don't get a BBL if you're thinking about it until Mercury is direct. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I don't give medical advice. So anywho, I wouldn't do it. I try to avoid doing stuff during retrograde times unless the retrograde is good for it. Okay. So that's what we have there. I thought that was really interesting. And I do want to just say around the 17th, 18th, 19th. Wow. I think that, well, really and truly the 17th through about like the 21st or so. That could be a really, really stressful time. We might be like, oh, Mercury retrograde is just really, really tripping. So, yeah, that's just want to give you that caution. So, we're going to have our full moon in Aquarius on the 19th of August. I forgot. I think is it the 19th degree? What degree is this? It's on the 19th. Oh, the 27th degree. Okay. So it'll be on the 27th degree of Aquarius. I'll put a video out that gives more details, but that's a rough moon. That's all I got for you. Now, what I'm going to tell you is I'm going to call that the moon. It's a breakthrough moon, which Aquarius is a sign that has to do with having a breakthrough. Folks, gonna get a breakthrough with that full moon in Aquarius. All right. So yeah, wowzers. So then, like I said, the sun is going to go into Virgo. And well, I've talked about Virgo quite a bit today. And then we're going to have Mercury go direct on the 28th of August. Now, right after Mercury goes direct, we still have what's called the shadow time. So it's like Mercury's not even moving, right, leading up to the 28th. And then it has a stop in order to go in a new direction. At least that's what it looks like in the sky. And then it'll start moving, but it's not moving at its very fast rate just yet. It'll take a few days before it actually gets there. So we still have about 3 weeks after the 28th. Yeah, about 3 weeks after the August the 28th to get back to feeling like, okay, Mercury retrograde is for sure over. So again, you want to kind of look at what are you focused on right now? Just look at your life. And I mean, people don't know astrology. They come to me and get a reading and they are totally living out this astrology. So just pay attention to what are you focused on right now? because when we get in that time period after Mercury retrograde, it's going to give you an opportunity to yeah, to fix to really integrate or bring closure to, or just really tie up some loose ends. Okay. So take advantage of that time. Take advantage of that time. I want you to remember Mercury retrograde, we actually are dealing with about 9 weeks. We're dealing with about 3 weeks before. Mercury is typically retrograde for about 3 weeks. And then we will have about 3 weeks after Mercury retrograde, where we're still dealing with that Mercury retrograde in energy. So avail yourself to that time. So then Venus goes into Libra, which she's at home in Libra. She's at home in Libra. And that definitely will be bringing up topics around relationship and balance and harmony. I believe that Libra is a sign that's about getting support. So it's an opportunity for those of you who have trouble with receiving support. It's an opportunity for you to practice that, to really open yourself up. And then the sun will go there at the end or towards the end of September, bringing back around these topics of, hey, where do you need support? Do you need a coach, personal trainer? Do you need to hire somebody to help clean up your home? Okay. Let's see here. Relationships. It will help to bring, more ease, more flow, more balance, more harmony in the relationship. At least, it's whatever it looks like for you. Because I can't make any guarantees that Venus and Libra will fix a person's relationship, but she can surely help it. This it's an energy of grace and elegance. It is such a beautiful, beautiful sign. It's also a sign that's about being in action. So that's something else that I love about the sign of Libra. And Venus being there can help you to take some beautiful, beautiful action. Ooh, she's going to be trying Pluto on that day too. We'll talk about that when I get closer to that, when I do the weekly astrology. The top of the month, you know, we have Mercury retrograde, but Mercury's not actually doing much with this Mercury retrograde. Um, and then once we get down here around, wow, yeah, this week, I'm even just going to say 12th, 13th. We can include the 12th and the 13th. Once we get down here, wow, it really starts to me getting a little bit stressful. It's just big energy, unexpected type of energy. And, like Mars is this energy that has to do with war and aggression. And now it is this energy that's about taking action, but it could be explosive, right? It's in Gemini, which it's not necessarily the best in Gemini. Um, Gemini is like this multiple energy, and Mars is just like one. There's just one thing, one person. Gemini is, it's a sign that has to do with social. It's a very social sign. And Mars could care less about being social, right? Mars is just like, what do we need to get done? And let's do it. Now, we'll say Mars in Gemini, it could create a lot of heated argumentative energy. And so when it combines with Jupiter, which Jupiter is a benefic planet, which it brings abundance, it's a very wise planet, but it increases things without really, it doesn't care if it's positive or negative. Jupiter is just like, hey, we're getting ready to just grow this thing, you know? And so in a way, to me, the conversation, I always thought, if we think people are talking on social media a lot anyway, it will seem even more. But so Jupiter is gonna just this energy of bigness and it's hot energy too. It's a fiery planet. Mars is a fiery planet. They are combining. Now, it can bring some amazing stuff. Like it can bring some energy around technology because Gemini is a techie sign. And, we just are in this age where everything is becoming more and more technological. So it could really initiate, like create maybe some new social platforms. I'm ready to get rid of X. I'm being 100 with y'all. I don't like X. For some reason, I just can't get into threads. I think it's because I'm not trying to be, cuddled up with Facebook anymore, Meta, whatever it's called anymore. I need a platform that's separate from them. Anywho, that's just my personal views. But it makes me just kind of wonder, will we get a new social media platform? Will something happen with TikTok? Because we know TikTok is hanging in the balance. Will something happen with TikTok? Um, in it's I want y'all to just take care of your mental health during this time also. Because that Mars can I see people with Mars in that 3rd house, which is like Gemini, and it can really create a lot of mental stress. So I want y'all to take care of that. Um, but yeah, I think that also this could be definitely something a lot of what we're seeing in society. Okay. In personal, it could be something about neighborhood or neighbors and friends, something new, because this is a new thing that's kicking off, something new around siblings and friends and neighbors and coworkers, cousins, people who are your peers, okay, friends. So something new in that regard, something new, even maybe even in travel. Maybe you're like, hey, I want to start riding the bus, or instead of riding the bus, I'm gonna take my car. I'm gonna carpool, but it could really be topics around, like, how are you getting by day to day? It could for some people, it actually, especially Aries people, maybe even Libras, it could really kick off a lot around travel, where you're just, like, finding yourself taking all these trips to and fro, to and fro. Um, but if for any of us, it really it could just be some topic around moving around more or having more trips. I talked about the technology. It could also help with writing and maybe even getting published. It could help with, yeah, anything to do with communication, social media. Uh, I think also we'll see something. Now I'm kind of moving out to the collective. We'll see something around um, the news cycle is going to be like, wow, I don't know. I feel like the media is gonna be judged. It's just how I feel. Uh, it's like the media in the United States, first of all, I don't it's even a struggle to really understand fully what the media is, but I believe that there's gonna be something new happening, but I think the media is gonna get catch heat first. And then after a while, the media will get better. Because I mean, it's in our Constitution that the media is supposed to, be free of oppression by the government. But I think that it's so corporatized that it's just running amok at this point. Even though I know we have independent media, so maybe we'll see more independent media come up. Um, but yeah, it'll really kick off the news cycle, and that Jupiter could be something around higher education. It could be something around the judges. Something around judges, and it could be, y'all know if for those who keep up with the news, I already know I'm talking about the Supreme Court, but just judges in general or professors. Oh, also priests and priestesses and imams and all kinds of spiritual leaders. Some could be coming up around them too. Mars is this kicking it off type of energy. So, but in it also could be an improvement because Gemini is really, really good at taking something that's already there and improving it. So that is something also that could be coming up. So right around the same time that Mars meets Jupiter, it's going to also do what is called a square. And that's just because, yeah, it's just the way they meet. It's going to square Saturn, and so will Jupiter right around the same time. That to me is very, very, that's a little stressful. Um, what did I write down? Because I got so stressed looking at it. A lot of this is something about society because the Saturnian energy, the Jupiterian energy, even Mars, if we really can see a lot going on in society. Um, Now, I really do think that this is a good transit for kind of like pausing and seeing what do we need to focus on. We're out of focus, we need to get focused, but we can't do it until we actually stop and really look. Um yeah, I also think that this can help people get unstuck. I think that during this time, it's important for everybody to know that you may live in a place where the weather really kind of goes haywire. I think it could be something like storms or flooding because there's we have Pisces. Saturn is in Pisces, and Pisces is the ocean, it's water. And then we have these two planets down here in Gemini, and Gemini is air. So I'm thinking storms, potentially, the mix of the water and the air and even maybe some of the lightning or whatever. So yeah, I think can be very volatile during this time, and this is another cycle that if you go back to the great meeting of Jupiter and Saturn in the sky, and this is right in December, right close to the end of December 2020. That was the last time that they met. And so it could be something, like something kicked off during that time, or you'll find topics that were highlighted for you during that time are back. But maybe you got stuck and you have been in inaction for a while. And so during this time, and I honestly believe we could kind of feel like we're being moved from anywhere around, yeah, the 12th through, mm, yeah, easily the 22nd of August. I think those are pretty challenging days. Um, I will say while Mercury is in Leo, it is going to interact with Chiron, which makes me happy. Because Chiron is all about healing. And so I just think that Mercury retrograde is going to give us an opportunity to maybe do some healing around the body or do some healing from our childhood. Because so much of where I see us at right now is we're at a time where we want to, um, it's like, what do I need to work on right now that's off? That once I address it, it allows me to continue to move forward with balance and peace and harmony and with the ability to continue to manifest or to work step by step by step on my goals and my intentions, you know? So maybe this interacting with Chiron will actually help us to see like, wow, I'm getting the lesson in what has been going on with me for the last few months. And yeah, wow, get that lesson so that it's no longer a wound, but it's a blessing. Okay, so I just want to do a quick oracle reading. I've talked so much, so I will not take up too much more of your time, but I hope that This has been a helpful overview of the month of August. And yeah, please avail yourself to the wisdom. Um, and so I pulled from my Mythical Goddess Tarot deck the goddess Amaterasu. Amaterasu. It's so interesting because Amaterasu is connected to the energy of the sun. And the energy of the sun is tantamount this month with Mercury retrograding back into Leo. The sun is actually in Leo. So let's see what she has to say. Um, it says, she embodies the loving warmth and light of the sun emerging into the world in glory and triumph. And she is the assured return of life and joy after darkness. Her radiant beauty shines forth from within the core of her being. You know what? She doesn't need any adornment. And her beauty is reflected to others. And she shines forth into your life, radiating wholeness, wellness, creation, and manifestation. She shows you there is good reason to be optimistic, that you are loved and free to express yourself in the sunniest light, and that co-creation and partnership with others is the joy, great joy in life. And she encourages you through your glowing radiance to light the way for others. And that kind of speaks to what I was saying about that Chiron, helping you to get a lesson that will allow you to, it's like, oh, I got the lesson. It's not holding me up anymore. This pain, this wound that happened to me, and just all the other things that we're working on this month that can help us to let our light so shine. Also, I love that it talks about being optimistic. You know, yeah, that Jupiter right now, that Jupiter is struggling. Jupiter is the planet of optimism, is struggling in Gemini. And then, it has all these wild interactions with Saturn, which is like sober up, get real, you need to, I know what your vision is, but get real about it, whatever. But yeah, we have reason to be optimistic because what happened was she hid as the sun, and then everything went into darkness. And it took other gods and deities laughing that made her come out to see what are they laughing about. And she was kind of curious, which is Gemini curiosity. What can you be curious about? Instead of being so judgy, be curious. So she comes out and everyone's laughing, and it made her come back out, and the sun started shining again, you know? So this is why, all the relationship topics are so important. Well, hot dog. From my African Goddess Rising deck, I pulled Oshun. Wow. So this Venusian energy is doing what it does, okay? Because Oshun is the same energy as Venus. So this again is from my African Goddess Rising deck, and she says, for the month, dare to love. Begin with loving yourself. Allow yourself to be loved. You feel everything deeply. You are porous with a wall around your heart, and this is your paradox. So this is what else she says. She says, you are loved and you are worth loving. Your divine assignment is to remain open to fearless love. You deserve to be loved in your language. You are worthy of a love that remembers your beauty at your ugliest moments. Don't allow your unhealed past to block your future. Real love is a sacred contract that says, I am vulnerable and committed. Your heart is safe with me. Let's expand our consciousness together. So, the declaration for this month is the goddess declaration is I give love, I receive love, I am love. Yeah, I'm going to actually share a recording I made a few weeks back talking about relationships. Yeah, I think it's time for me to release that podcast. Just hearing that reading, knowing that Venus is actually also going to go into Libra. So Anywho, thank you all so much for being here. I would appreciate it if y'all would give the video a like, especially if you got something from it. I mean, if you're at this point, thank you so much for getting here. I would love to hear a takeaway. I love hearing from you all also. And yeah, wow. I'm wishing y'all an amazing August. It's gonna be real interesting. It's gonna be very, very interesting. All right, queens. Thank you all so, so much. I'm gonna put a little on. You and yours an amazing August. Oh yeah, don't forget. Where are we? One more reading left if you want to get a mini reading. And oh, also, I just want to show y'all really quickly something I've been working on. I'm coming out with my own shop, All Things Goddess Shop. I don't know if I'm going to keep this cover, but this is what it looks like right now. So I'm excited about that. Anywho, thank y'all so, so much. Have a wonderful day. Happy August. Love y'all. Blessings of the goddess and ancestors be upon you and yours now and always. Go be great, goddesses.